I'm here because I'm good friends with Dave. So, I pressured Dave into getting me onto the podcast.
Oh, sweet.
So it depends which side you want to know.
We want to know all the sides.
Well, it's there's Simon Tsalikis, the real estate broker.
Right.
Right, and that's how some know me. And of course, there's where I met Dave was at the TSN 690. I've been a radio host there for I'd say about 15 years, man. I always use the 2004 Greece Euro that I wasn't on the air then.
Okay, it was right after.
Yeah, so it was pretty much right after that. So I was on the air around, I think around 2005. I've been part-time with the radio station.
Okay.
And that's it. And I've enjoyed my time there. I've always been part-time. I've been part-time with the radio station longer than I've been a real estate broker. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you would have loved to been there when Greece won the
They would have never heard the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have been there from I would have showed up on the morning show. And then I would have left with Melnick in the afternoon. At the end of the day, I would have done my 13, 14-hour shift and just, going over the goals and everything else about it. But, it was a good time.
Good. You have a unique radio story, right? How'd you get into radio?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's unique. Look, how it started was I've always enjoyed radio and didn't have a chance to enjoy podcasts. Like, a lot of the younger people now might say they got hooked by listening to a podcast or whatever. Right? We didn't have that. So what happened when I was playing Vanier football, there was an area in Vanier called Jake's. So we used to go there, hang out there, play cards and stuff like that. But there was actually a little DJ booth. And they would spin music and whoever, the hip-hop hour, the country hour, whatever it was.
Right.
So there was a little bit of a mandate from the CJEP to put the sports on as well. So we had to do half an hour, I think, of sports talk, the football team, what's coming up, the game, come watch us there, maybe bring somebody on. So Coach felt, listen, you like to blab. I did. I talked a lot of trash on the field, so it worked out. So he goes to me to go do it. So I enjoyed it from them. And then TSN 690, which was not called TSN 690, it must have been called Team 990 at the time. They had send in a demo, and then from the demo, they were going to pick people to come on the air. I think they told me the demos were over 100 demos.
It was a contest, right?
It was a contest, that's right, yeah. So it was a Radio Star, it was called. So I sent mine in, and I guess I survived to the 16. And then the 16 got on the air. We got a day, probably more than a day.
What did you have to send in exactly?
A demo.
Just what was that? What
you know what?
Contain? Was it a minute of you speaking?
Yeah, I think a little bit more than that, probably.
Okay.
I think a little bit more than that. I remember just you have to have a hot take.
Okay.
That's before there were actually hot takes.
Right.
You just had to come up with something interesting. And then you send it in. And then I got a call to come in to meet the Team 990 staff or on-air personalities, whatever. And we went in. I think there was 16 of us that got on the air. So whether we sat in on the show, said very little, maybe started doing updates.
Right.
And then at some point during the week that we were on, you'd ask one question and then a whole bunch of other stuff. And as from 16, we went to 8, and then went to 4, and then went to 2, and then I won.
Wow.
The good thing is a guy that's brighter than me, George Caparis, he finished second. George, we did a show together for years. George is a cop in the city.
Okay.
So George was smart enough. We're only 2 Greeks that entered the contest. So we finished 1 and 2. So there's a shout out to that.
Yeah, there you go.
So he called me the day before. He got my number. We had played ball hockey against each other. So we had some mutual friends. And George calls me up and says, you know what, man? The guy who wins gets a 50-inch TV, 3 months at the radio school, and a show. He goes, these guys haven't figured out that the poor guy who finishes second is literally walking away with nothing.
Yeah.
So he goes, how about we do this? The guy who wins hosts a show, and the other guy comes on as a sidekick or whatever. And I was like, you know
I
what?
thought you guys were going to just give him the TV.
No. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not
agreement.
giving away the TV. So we did that, and I ended up winning, but we did the show together for about 3 months in the middle of the night, probably Sundays.
Nice.
And then we got Monday night after Monday Night Football, and after the 3 months were up, they weren't paying us. And they were like, if you guys want to stick around for another 3 months in the middle of the night, you're not bothering anybody. So we started doing the Monday night right after the Monday Night Football game. So we feed off that. And then at some point, we just happened to be in the building, then, maybe doing another night. And then one of the regular guests was unable to go in. And they're like, can you come in and fill in? It was probably for Tony, I think was my first time, was filling in for the Montreal Forum.
Okay.
So I filled in for Tony. And that's it. The rest is history. You don't
Damn,
leave the building,
nice.
Dave. That's
Yeah,
the story
I know,
here.
exactly.
Just keep hanging around the building.
That's
and,
how I got.
That's
how I
it.
did
You
it.
know, that's it. Just keep hanging around the building, and eventually they're gonna ask you to do something. You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice. That's pretty cool. You before the radio, before the real estate, you used to own bars.
Yeah, I owned 2 bars. I think we opened one up. I remember the year. I think it was 1996, and I don't remember. I'm pretty certain it was 1996. What I do remember. For certain, it was the year the Habs played the Rangers in the playoffs, and the Habs went up 2-0 in that series. Ruzinski was the big difference in the first 2 games, and if you remember, Mark Messier came back and said, we're going to win this series. Okay. So the Habs won 2 in New York, and I remember we had just opened, and we're like, this is awesome. We're going to run this sucker right to a cup. We're going to make a killing here. So the place was called Muggs. It was in Laval.
How old were you when you opened that up?
How old was I? So 24, 25.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I was young. A little too young, maybe. I remember at that point I was in university, and I said, I'm done with university. Tough conversation to have with my mother. Because not a very traditional Greek family. Didn't have any restaurateurs and stuff like that. Okay. One of my brothers is, an engineer. The other one has a finance degree. And here comes the little brother saying, you know what? I think we're done here. I want to open a bar. Yeah, not exactly what you wanted to hear. My brothers were thrilled, though. Right. They were like, awesome place to drink. This is great.
Exactly.
So we had that place. So I think right around that year, which I think was 1996, and we rolled that up until 2003. And that was kind of it was a pretty 150-seater at least.
Okay.
With like 6, 7, 8 TVs and a hockey crowd, a football crowd. Remember Mondays were crazy because it was people would come in and watch Raw.
Oh,
and
nice.
then WCW, and Monday Night Football. So like Mondays was like
at a restaurant.
Yeah, it was somebody coming in and it became a thing.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
This is also when the WCW and WWE had a pay-per-view almost every month. Right. So like Sundays and Mondays were pretty busy for us. And then we opened up a second one. It was called Lounge 6. Much more chill.
Where was that? In
Chamonix, like about 3 minutes from the other place. Okay. But much more. Very small kitchen, very good kitchen, different vibe, one television only. Okay. More of a lounge.
More of a lounge in a bar.
Exactly. Right. And then we sold that in 2008. And then I took a year off. And then I went and got my real estate license. My broker's license.
What possessed you? What like this to get out of that business? Was there a line at?
Yeah, there was. I'll tell you right away. My daughter was born on February 11th.
Ah, right.
And the last day of February that month is when we notarized the sale of the bar. Okay. And I was just from 1996 to 2008. It's a good run.
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot of nights. I wouldn't change anything. I enjoyed myself. A period in my life where my boys would come. A Monday turned into a Saturday night. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Later on, I had my girlfriend at the time who ended up being my wife. So there was a couple of years that I owned the bar with her. Being married to her, so it was cool too. We'd entertain. But they started having kids, and it's also ran its course as well. Like I was tired of working nights and stuff like that. But you know how it is being self-employed. There's nice. There's some freedom there. You wanted to leave. You wanted to leave. You wanted to play a second round of golf and go into work late. You played a second round of golf and you showed up to work late. There was no consequences or repercussions. So that element I liked.
Would you say that the restaurant, the whole restaurant portion of your life, is that something done, or you think you'll revisit it later on in life?
Oh, that's a great question. I can't. I gotta say, yeah. I think there's some point. I don't know if I can be that hands-on. Okay. But definitely being involved with opening up a store or a few stores is something that always intrigues me. Whenever I'm online every day, looking to what's the new revenue properties for sale, condos for sale in the area, what my clients are looking for, and every day I click on commercial to see what's for rent, a spot here. A restaurant there that's not doing that well, but maybe you can revamp it or stuff like that. Yeah. So it's something that definitely intrigues me. Yeah.
I have a dumb question.
Sure.
Just I'm curious on what is the link between like Greeks and restaurants? Because
that's a great question.
I work with a lot of restaurants. I would say probably 80% of our clients are Greek.
Yeah.
Because
they own Italian restaurants. They own all sorts.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. How did that happen? Like,
I'm gonna have to say you go back to when a lot of them immigrated here. Immigrated going back hundreds of 100 years, but I know when my dad and his brothers came over in the 50s and 60s, it was pretty much that was the opportunity. You weren't going to give in a bus route, right? There was exams you had to pass and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know from a lot of my family, they worked in as furriers. My wife's family, they worked as furriers. My family, they worked in park extension in factories. It doesn't take, language, cut the pattern here, So a lot of them got work in the restaurant industry. I think, look, I don't know if you can say for everybody, but I know that generation of men that were restaurateurs in the 60s and 70s was a tremendous work ethic. It's not an easy business to see thrive. So they had that. They had the desire to work.
Ethic.
Yeah. So I think, and again, they happened to be at the right place at the right time. And probably the city was in dire needs of cooks and chefs and busboys and whatever, and they were there to fill that need. Yeah.
Huh. Are your bars still open by any chance?
No, they're not. They're physically there,
but they're not.
They're not mine days.
So they screwed it up.
Could have done this there. Then,
that would have been great. All right. So why real estate? Like, what intrigued you about real estate?
Family's always been a little bit of real estate, buying and selling stuff, but not heavy into it. So what happened was when my daughter was born in 2008, we lived on a pretty busy boulevard.
Right.
And my wife and I were like, neighbors next door are a little older. There's really no kids in this area. I'll give you the perfect example. My wife and I moved from our home in 2009. It was the duplex that I grew up in. My dad passed away when I was young. My mom passed away when I was in my 20s. So it was me in the duplex by myself. I had my tenants upstairs and downstairs. We revamped it. It was nice, but it was an older neighborhood. Like I remember, like in the 80s, my mother would spend $40, $50 on candies, which was an obscene amount of money for candies, right?
Yeah.
And then when we were there in the 2005, 2006, 2007, we'd spend like $20 and we'd have like $19.50 left over. Because just people wouldn't come to the boulevard anymore. They were in certain new pockets, new areas where new development, more family oriented. So everybody would go there. So we just said, listen, it's time to move into a little bit of suburbia. So my wife's uncle was our real estate broker. And during the whole process of shopping for a house and looking for a house, he was an older gentleman. He's like, why don't you try this? Go get your license. If you have a network of people, if you like to talk and you like to be out and about, try it. And I did. And the one thing that I do like about it, it's that I'm a real estate broker right now at this minute. My phone's over there.
Right.
But I can stop and do what I like. For me, it was very important. I don't think I can ever be shackled down to a 9 to 5, not even to answering to anybody. It's not about answering. I don't have a problem with that. Even if I was the owner of whatever business or company, tell me that I have to be there from 9 to 5. And when there's the Masters is on at 3 o'clock, I can't go watch the around at the bar, or the Habs are playing a matinee, or the Bears are playing American Thanksgiving. I can't go watch that game. I really, really enjoy having my own schedule.
Nice.
Makes sense.
What are some key traits to being a good real estate agent?
There are many. I think with anything, there's got to be a level of likability. I don't know if that's a trait or anything, but I think if your clients don't like you or others don't like you, I think you got to be able to relate. You got to be able to talk to people. I think you would want that with probably your barber, or anybody, your accountant. Like if you can't relate to your accountant, or he's, you're a little bit more laissez-faire, and they're, just debits, credits. There's no gray area. So I think there's a element of likability. I think you'd be able to deal with people and talk to people and understand
would
people.
you say someone that's good in sales is generally good in real estate? Because I feel like you'd be a great salesperson.
I think that would I be a great salesperson?
I feel like you would.
Depending on what I'm selling. Yeah. I don't want to tell you about my days working at Foot Locker. It wasn't that good.
Really? I figure you would be, because you're so personable. You're in the sports. You like the shoes. You dress well.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't put it together back then. Though,
okay. Dave. Yeah. Okay. That's
so I think if you're a good sales, I think if you're good in sales, there's nothing I don't think you can do, right? I think that's a great gift, the ability to sell yourself
absolutely.
First and foremost, and probably easier to sell a pair of shoes or a jacket or a car. Selling yourself is much more difficult, I think, than that. So if you've got the ability to sell, I think you'll make a great broker. Yeah.
So you want to get into the big debate of
well, we see a lot online. A hot topic is basically people saying, should you buy? Is that the one you're talking about? Should you buy a house or should you be renting a space? is that black and white still? Like parents looking at their kids, they always want their kids to buy a house. That's when okay, my kid is finally in a
You've
safe
made
zone.
It kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When
It's a cultural thing too.
Exactly. Like Mia, like I have this debate with my girlfriend all the time because I'm a renter. I'm a lifelong renter. I know that probably it's probably best to buy, but I'm firmly of the belief that I rent. And she's like just because like her mom did it and everybody else did it, she's just her path in life leads her to buy a house. So now there's a huge debate on that because some people are saying take that money that you were going to invest into a mortgage and invest it into a business or invest it into yourself instead. So like I'm just curious to get like your take on.
Well, look, investing it in a business or even in yourself, there's no certainty that it's going to succeed.
No, for sure.
But investing in a home, I think it's just a matter of preference, right?
It's not black. It's not a black and white thing.
I can live with having $3,000 debt on my credit card. If you ask my brother, he'd throw himself from a bridge if he had $3,000 debt on his credit card. So I think it's a balance. And I think, Dave, you sit down and you do the numbers.
Right.
Like, I'm this old. If I rent, somewhere nice, me girlfriend child, me girlfriend second child, wife, whatever it may be, you start, the 4.5 might not fit anymore. So you're looking at a 5.5. So you do the math, and then you do the math on buying a home and paying your taxes and everything else that goes with the home. If you would have bought, if we had this conversation 10 years ago or 15 years ago, pick a nice house in the West Island in Saint Laurent and Chamonix or whatever.
Yeah.
The growth in those homes, you can't debate that, right?
No,
15 years of renting, and then you bought a home, probably 20 years ago for $200,000 a bungalow.
Yeah,
that's probably going for $450.
No, it's ridiculous now, especially in the West Island. The prices.
Yeah, West Island, it's a very hot, very good market. So now you got to do the math where we are with the prices. I think the prices they're increasing, and
the market right now. You're saying it's a good time to buy. It's a
good time to.
It's a good time to buy. Tough to ask me if it's a good time to buy. It's always a good time to buy.
Right.
But I don't see. Let's just use a bulk number. It's a very fat number. Let's say $500,000.
Yeah.
If you have $500,000 now, you're going to get this house. There's a great possibility in a year from now you're not getting that house for $500,000. So is it a great time to buy?
Yeah.
Do you think it's better to buy now at $500,000 or to buy next year at $515,000? I don't believe that $500,000 home is going to be on the market next year for $485,000.
Right.
So I don't see I don't see it trending backwards in 10 years from now, 15 years, and maybe 2 years from now. I don't know, but the demographics, the rates, the mortgage rates, the way the city is trending, I think there's a lot of good jobs. I don't think it's on a level with Toronto or New York, anything like that, where there's these big high paying jobs. But the city's healthy. It hasn't been this healthy in a while, so I don't see it. I don't see it pulling back anytime soon. But it's something that you got to sit down and do the math. Absolutely.
Right. So you're a TSN host. You're a real estate guy. How do you balance the two? How do you
Yeah.
How do you do juggling two careers? It must be hard.
Because there's the dad and the husband, and you got to juggle as well. And of course, my Saturday basketball that we have to fit in there as well. It is a balance, Dave. It's it works. Somehow I get it to work. I'm lucky enough that at TSN 690, if I were to say that, I'm sorry, you need me on Monday, but on Monday I have an inspection at 11, and then I'm notarizing with a client at 1. I can't do it. I simply can't do it. The luxury, again, going back to what I really enjoy, having my own schedule and making my own schedule, I do get my schedule in advance for a month.
Okay.
Real estate always comes first. If there's something that has to be done at this time, it will be done at that time, even at the expense of radio. But look, if I'm doing the morning show,
right,
I'm out the door at 10:05.
Exactly.
I hope my bosses don't see this, but I'm out the door at 10:05. If I'm in the middle of the day for Tony, between 10 and 1, I'll do some before, I'll do a little bit after, and you make it work. I got a great wife at home that knows that sometimes I literally drop off the sweatsuit that I'm wearing at the TSN 690, hop into a pair of pants, and off I go for some visits and stuff. But there's a balance in there. Many nights, Dave, I sit like on my couch and I'm like, oh, this is it's nuts.
But how about because it must bring out those different elements, bring out different layers of your personality, or are you? Do you feel like you're consistent? You only have like one personality and you bring it across? Because I always feel like me. Whenever I'm around different people, it brings out a different element in me. And when you do it too often, you sit back and you're like, which one am I more? Or like, who am I? Type of thing. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah. I look. What you hear on the radio is more me.
Okay.
Dave knows that I'll bark, I'll yell, I'll scream, we'll
Okay.
go out for a beer, we'll laugh. You know, we like to enjoy ourselves. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm able to flip that switch.
Okay.
I think that when my real estate me is much different from my radio guy, but I think the radio guy is more me.
Right.
But when it's time to be professional, it's professional. I don't think it's any different if we have a friend. We probably all have a friend. If not, we have a lawyer. And the way he acts in a courtroom, Your Honor, you plead. And then when he's sitting next to you in the locker room and we're about to start an ice game, we're about to play a beer league game, he's a different person.
100%.
A friend of ours, if he owns a restaurant and he's handling the door, and you're like, wow, he's so nice and polite. And on Sundays when he's watching his Dallas Cowboys, the guy's an animal. So I think we're all able to a certain extent, So, but it's funny. I get that a lot more than probably other brokers because at 1 o'clock I'm yelling and screaming at a Bruins fan.
Exactly.
And then at 1:30 I'm sitting in front of a Bruins fan, trying to sell his home. So there's definitely
because you do it very publicly in one venue, right?
Exactly.
It's more public than any other.
What is it? What are we drinking here?
This is a Tegroni, so it's basically tequila, Campari, and vermouth. Cheers.
There's not enough alcohol in here. It should have been like.
Molly, cheers. I'm gonna double check that camera. Does it always flash?
I don't know. Now you got me doubting myself.
This is my best stuff, so we can't start again, eh?
Not bad, dude. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's better than what I expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair. Would you have this on
No.
No, okay. There you go. So there you go.
We're not rolling up to a bar and,
okay. Fair enough.
One, there's the element of being was a bartender for 13 years. I don't have the heart to do that to a bartender.
To put that 3 different shots of
four different drinks on a Friday night.
Okay.
Vodka, soda, very simple.
Ah, that's nice.
This is my go-to drink.
That's
the Negroni's not the Tegroni.
The Negroni is your.
That's with gin, right?
That's the one with gin instead of tequila.
Gin was good. I remember there was a little bit of a gin phase in my life, and then I think I got just smashed on it. And
what's your favorite vodka now?
I don't know.
You don't have one?
I like the Grey Goose is good. I know that we used to carry a Sky. Is an American vodka. I always like that. Shirak is good too. I'm not
okay.
I'm not elitist with my
vodkas.
That's fair. I'll stay away from Musky. Muskaskaya.
Okay.
It's a Russian vodka.
Oh, yes, I know. I know
the
that
green
one. Well. Yes, yeah.
That one leaves a mark, I find. A little bit more
in our younger days, that's the cheaper one, It's,
you go for that one for the big hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me take this like somewhere else. I'll segue.
Sure.
I'll get you into some more trouble now that we spoke about renting and buying. So you do radio. Advertising on the radio, I believe, is not where it once was. I'm curious on what are your takes on that? Like with social media being such a dominant platform, do you feel like the radio versus social media? What are your takes on that in general?
I love the advertising. I love the advertising on the radio.
Okay.
It's something that I really, really regret not doing when the moment I got my license and I was a part-time Bell Media employee. It resonates. And I think there's definitely a place for a platform. Dave knows that I struggle with my social media advertising. I don't struggle. I'm terrible at it. You
just don't do it.
That's probably
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're not terrible at it. You just.
I think radio resonates, and I think you got to remember this. TSN 690 or in ESPN or Fox Sports, there is no more loyal listener than a sports listener.
Right.
If I want to hear the new Taylor Swift, I listen to the new Taylor Swift, the new Eminem. It's on the radio. It doesn't mean I'm going to relate to the guy or gal
who's presenting the song.
But you relate to sports radio. Sports guys like me, sports junkies, connect. That's why we talk about guys that were on before us, like Mitch Melnick and Ted Teven and Ted Blackman. Those names resonate.
Yeah, legends.
Legends. So when you talk to me about Ted Teven, I remember Tropicana. I remember, was it Atlas or Champlain, one of the taxi cabs that he would promote, So I remember these advertisers. Radio stays with people. I think you're mobile, you're in the car. If you're on one of the music stations and the song's done, you might go try to find another song. Whereas if you're listening to a conversation about the Habs or the Lakers or Bianca Andreescu, you stay locked in on that. Fair enough. I don't know if I would put my money in advertising towards, a pop station, but a talk show, especially a sports one, I think the listener is a very loyal listener and attentive.
That makes sense.
If I was a plumber, I would advertise on our station.
Right.
If I was a painter, I think the people who listen to that station lock into
For sure. Look at like Westmount Moving.
Yeah,
have you on my like clinic with
Dave, no joke. When I moved, I used Westmount Moving. It's not because I wanted to stay loyal to the brand. It's like, let me go over all the moving companies I know. Westmount Moving. All right, there we go. Westmount Moving. Let's go. We're gonna do this with Westmount Moving. So, the talk show, especially the sports talk show, is a different breed. And if you ever were to sit down with anybody who runs a radio station, and you listen to the hours spent listening to that radio station, sports talk radio is at the top. The average listener listens a lot more than anything else.
I believe that. Yeah.
So have you, on the same topic, how have you found that being a radio personality has helped you on the real estate side? Like you have that great free coffee, right? That's what you're known for.
Well, it's true because also a friend of mine who listens to TSN 690 referred to you as like the realtor, the real estate guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people associate that.
Yeah,
it must definitely help.
I think in the beginning I was trying to keep two worlds apart.
Right.
I believe it or not, I think I told you, Dave, the first time I ran a commercial, I ran it with another broker. His name is Terry, and we just said Simon and Terry. I was dumb enough to think that people weren't going to pick up on that it's me. So I just wanted to keep two.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Two different. There's an element of, I may go down and I say, you want me to sell your house? Sure. And then, somebody might say, well, this guy's, spending 8 hours a week, maybe 10, maybe 0. This week I'm not on at all. Next week I'm on twice. So there's an element of people that maybe are scared to say, listen, this guy has a little side gig. No different than anybody else's.
I'm worried about that too, doing this. Our clients watching this, like, hey, when did these guys find the time
no
to do
different
this?
than somebody who goes to the gym an hour or 2 hours a day, or somebody who has a golf habit. Like, if your realtor plays a round of golf, that's 5 hours.
Yeah.
It takes him 30 minutes to get to the course. It takes him 4 hours to finish the round if he's lucky, and then another 30 minutes. Not that he can't pick up his phone or anything, but it's something that I do battle. Like, Simon, if you're on the air, are you still going to sell their home? Yeah. I know that there are agents in my office that are I could more successful than I, just from a dollars and cents standpoint.
Yeah.
And if you go to their site and you click on the number of views they have, it pales in comparison to mine, because people just want to know what that loudmouth on TSN 690. Let me see what he's got. I want to see what his listings are. So I create a little bit of foot traffic, and maybe the one element that I'm ahead of the broker if we're both going, or 3 of us or 4 of us are going to solicit a home, or the clients are looking to sell their home or their restaurant or their property. Maybe the one step I have on them is they know me already.
Right.
They know that I have to sell properties to feed my children and put them in school. So this is very serious for me. It's where I get paid. So maybe there's a little bit of a connection. They know me a little bit. They know that, my quirks and this and that. So I think it's helped all in all.
Right. If you had to choose between real estate, would you be able to? Is it an easy choice, real estate and radio? Real estate. Okay.
It's a matter of dollars and cents.
Dollars and cents. Yeah.
I'm not full time. I don't know what you pay a full time radio host. I don't know what the guys at the station make. I've never asked, nor it's my business.
Right.
But if you wanted to hire me as I'd have to sit down, and it's a long conversation that I would have to have, because there's, my wife and I, we have our lifestyle. We enjoy our lifestyle. Yeah. We enjoy our vacations. We want to redo a kitchen. So it's going to cost money to redo a kitchen. We got our, kids in school, and so it's simply about dollars and cents. I love doing both. I love doing both. But if you told me, Simon, here's $100,000 or $200,000, and you had to pick one or the other, I would pick definitely the one that's 3 hours a day, and not sometimes 12 hours a day.
You mentioned kids very often.
Yeah.
Me and Dave had a debate.
Should you have kids?
No, I have 3 already.
No. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, I have 3. I'm 27 or 28. I forgot my age. People think I make that up.
No.
I'm 27 or 28.
Your birthday's in a week too.
So I'm gonna be 28. I'll be 28. I have 3 kids. Yeah.
That's great.
That's another story for another time.
Dave, how many do you have?
I have 0.
We have a dog.
I just got a dog.
There you go.
Hey,
right,
Freddy Krueger.
Right.
I want to ask you, with social media being such a, I consider it a scary place.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are not on it yet. My oldest is 8 years old. So, I don't have to have that conversation yet. What, can I have an account or whatnot? But is that something you were going to try and like stop your kids from being on social media till a given age? Or you're not sure?
No, I think you can't. Look, incredible amount of respect for those parents that can keep their kids off it. That takes a lot of, saying no.
Right.
And at some point, you're just, everybody else is doing it. And you fall into like, damn it,
Okay.
I don't want my kid to be the only kid. I had a cousin who's, his kid's like 15, he's never had McDonald's. So he thinks that's normal. It's not normal, man.
Yeah.
You can't be that dude that never had McDonald's. Like, why do you want to be that guy,
Yeah, I get it.
So, it's with my wife and I, especially with my wife, she monitors it. She's on top of it. It scares us a lot. I think I don't want to get into a boy or girl thing here. I think it's a lot worse for girls than it is for boys. Sometimes the boys are just banging it out on Fortnite for hours and hours and hours, where I think with girls, it's a little bit different.
That's true. That's very true.
That's something that really scares us. And I think my daughter's in grade 6 now. She'll be in grade 7. There's rules. There's going to be a phone. We're going to give her a phone because kind of seems like everybody else gives their kids a phone. And grade 7, we can't be that family.
That's my benchmark too.
It is. The little one's like freaking out. Why didn't I get a phone? I'm like, because you're in grade 4. So it's something that scares me. But definitely something I think we want to keep an eye on. We try to put all the parent locks and all that stuff. So
it's also the time spent. Like I don't know. Us adults apparently spend about 6 to 8 hours now, and it was introduced to us pretty late. I'm curious to these kids that are my daughter plays on the iPad. Yeah. YouTube, all these YouTube channels and stuff. So I'm just curious though, at 25, how much time is that generation going to be spending on the phone?
This is the thing. I look at it. If I asked my daughters on a ped day, if they were to get up at let's say 8, and I told them to do whatever they wanted to do, they'd be on Netflix and on my iPad all day. They would not get off it. Okay, so that's really bad. But the flip side to that is when I had a ped day, it's like I wasn't reading.
That's true.
I wasn't like, mother, can you get me, like I want to write some, So I know that it was a little bit different. There's a different element, that, being on your iPad and surfing the net than when I was on a ped day. I don't know if you remember these shows, Dave, like Different Strokes and Facts of Life and stuff. And then I'd watch the Transformers and G.I. Joe. And, so that's what we watched. Probably a little bit more wholesome, clearly a lot more wholesome than what you can find online. But
I guess because we weren't connected to the world. Now people are connected to the world from home. That's I think is the switch that happened in the last couple of years, which is scary.
It is very scary.
Pet days are not pet days anymore. Like they're talking to their friends.
You can I can hear my daughter with her conversations with her friends and stuff like that. So look, you got to snoop around, parents. If you're out there, don't be afraid. I don't know what the new rule book says. My rule book says screw that. We try to make sure,
open door policy.
Click on history every once in a while, see what's going on.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with that.
Just to bring it back, what are you most proud of in your life? Like, if you look, other than your kids and family, obviously, and professionally, when you look at your what you've done real estate wise, what you've looked at, a successful bar owner, a successful radio host, a successful.
I don't know what I'm most proud of, but I find myself, sitting and chatting with my friend Chris Nyland.
Right. Which is pretty.
When, sitting, I went for a coffee with Sergio Momesso in the summer. It's a hab.
Yeah.
Knuckles won a cup. I was watching him on TV. I was like, downtown, a year ago, and Chris was there with Guy Lafleur, and we hung out for 10 minutes. I didn't think when I was watching them. So I think that's a really cool part of it that I really enjoy. And as just, again, being a sports junkie, I didn't think it would happen. Last week I had Bob Gainey on the phone. Made Bob Gainey laugh.
Yeah.
Never in my life I would have thought I'd make, Bob Gainey laugh. I got to take a picture with GSP.
Yeah.
That's
legendary picture.
I love that picture.
At the Bell Center in the booth.
Yeah. I literally went.
I don't know what picture that is, but we'll post it here.
Yeah.
While you're saying it right now.
Yeah. So I went literally to. Because it was like Mitch Gallo's we're gonna have GSP between the first and the second period. I go, what? And I'm not even a big MMA guy at all. I the only fights I will watch is the ones that resonate, that the whole world is talking about.
Yeah.
Like Ellen's talking about the fight. So all of GSP's fights, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to. So I went on. Got I dusted off my press pass and I showed up to the first period and just got to ask him a couple of questions that I really thought was cool. So I think from that standpoint, look, career is like. I'm a real estate broker. I get an award here. I get an award there. Okay, that's nice. But I don't know. I think when I'm, 75 and I'm sitting around talking with my friends, or I'm not going to talk. Remember that beautiful, 12-plex was sold in the Plateau. That's not going to happen. But we'll have that conversation. And we sat down with Knuckles and Knuckles told us how he tried to beat up everybody on the Boston Bruins, and that was, great, So I like that part of it.
Yeah, it's true. It's a bit surreal a bit, working in radio and working around these people. It's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe I'm here type of moments.
Yeah, and it just also, like, I can't say we don't have a baseball team now, and we don't have an NBA team, so I don't know how the other guys are, but, man, hockey guys are just down to earth.
Right.
They don't have maybe the star power or, other, like, LeBron might be just too much, but just any guy on the Lakers or a guy on the Patriots, there's incredible star power. But I think with hockey guys, it's a little different. There's so much more down to earth. So much more chill,
humble, and more.
Yeah, I think so.
Very Canadian type of mentality.
Very Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm curious for the real estate stuff. You're probably maybe one of the few real estate people in your family. So do you get offended if someone doesn't go through you? Do you deal with family? Do you say I'm not working with?
No. I don't know if I get offended. I'll ask why.
Okay.
I'll find it always intriguing if a friend of the family or a cousin. I'm always this. I don't think anybody would take care of their home or their portfolio or their revenue property better than me. Like, my good friend is my dentist.
Yeah.
Like, why would I, to go find another dentist, somebody I don't know? I don't know. I just feel like my boy's going to have my, best interest at heart,
I feel like what happens is when it's family and close friends, they don't take the job as seriously. That's my personal thing. Like, let's say, like, if my accountant was a family member, I'd probably be at the bottom of his to-do list.
I hope you wouldn't be.
That's like my feeling. That's why I refuse to deal with family when it comes to like.
That's not no.
Like even clients, I don't really. I rather.
I think
do it.
When friends and family, I think it's easier.
Okay.
Because you can be more blunt.
Right.
Like, Dave, this is a good price. You should really think about it. I think it's if it's my cousin, I'm like,
yeah.
Can I swear, Dave?
Yeah, of course.
I might be like, are you fucking crazy? Like, this is a home run. Oh, I don't think it is. Yeah, this year, the comparables, this and that. The market says you're walking away here a big winner. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
It's just not a...
That makes sense.
Somebody I've met through real estate or I'm selling their home, you're going to be a little bit more reserved. But I think it's a...
I get that.
It's a better dynamic when you could just be a blunt force drama,
For sure.
Take this fucking offer and let's get out of here already.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I could swear it's done.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for like a budding journalist, a budding real estate agent? Like, any advice if they're listening right now? Like, just what?
Second time this week I'm going to mention this.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had a lot of calls and I've met many people, and just to be a little stereotypical, from the Greek community.
Okay.
Right.
Mom or dad who have reached out and said, my son is finishing, my daughter is finishing, and they're thinking about going into this. Can you meet us? And I would meet them, and sometimes I've even brought them on the station. And when I was doing the Saturday show, the pregame, so there's nobody in the building, a little bit more laissez-faire, they can sit in. And the one thing I will always say, if you want to take it seriously and you want to make a living off this, you better be able to be mobile. So when the city of Winnipeg is looking for somebody, the expansion team in Seattle, you better be able to pack up your shit and go quickly.
You're saying that's for the radio world now?
And yes, for the radio world.
Not the real estate.
No, not the real estate. The radio world. From that standpoint, if you want to make a living covering sports, whether it's talk radio, whether it's TV, whether it's a reporter, whether it's a writer, you better be able to pick up and go. I love this city. I call it home. I'm raising, my wife and I are raising 2 girls in the city. We love it. That's proof right there. But if you're going to do sports in English, you're catering to 20, maybe 25% of the audience.
Right.
If you're allophone or anglophone, work on your French. Be bilingual. Be very bilingual. Try to tap into that market as well. And if you're weak at this, which I am very weak at this, the ability to write. If you can write, continue to write. Write all the time. Write a blog. Write it on your Facebook page. Tweet it. Whatever. If nobody's reading it, it doesn't matter. Just work on writing. I think once you can write, there's always opportunities wherever, whether it be in media, whether it's television or print or whatever. Work on that skill. I also think it's like many other professions, it's a dying breed. So if you're good at it, I think they'll always be able to. You'll always be able to create a revenue if you're a good writer. Right. And especially things like the Athletic and
absolutely.
I love the Athletic. I think it's great. I think there'll be others like that to come out as well. So I think that there'll always be a safe haven for writers.
All right.
With the New Year's coming ahead. Any New Year's resolution? I actually want to ask Dave this too.
Dave, what are you going to do?
Oh, jeez. New Year's resolution. It's going to be the same goal as it always is.
Do you do it every year?
I never do them, to be honest. No? I never have a New Year's resolution. I guess I should, but I never do. I mean, it's gonna be to lose weight, right? I've been trying to lose weight for forever, man. Like it's just
you're doing it.
yeah.
Are you, Dave?
I've lost. How many am I at? I'm at 211. I've lost 19 pounds.
That's awesome. So you're below 200.
No.
You said 211.
Yeah.
Oh, you're at 211.
I'm at 211.
You're 230, Dave.
I was at 230. It was bad, and I'm not a tall guy, so
No.
I carry it terribly.
Yeah.
So I need to get back in shape. I need to absolutely. So we have a challenge a bit on the show on this podcast where
That I haven't been doing.
No,
I said I was gonna gain weight.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
Why bother?
but I'm trying to lose the weight, so I'm working hard at it. But yeah, that's the one thing I hate the most about myself, right? Is my weight. So if I could change that, then that would be
mine would be very close to that. Dave would be. A little bit of weight. I think I'm tipping up at 180. I've never done that, so I know.
Jeez, you look
I know,
great.
but it's. Look, I'll be 48 this August.
Yeah.
So you want to keep the weight in check. If not even about the weight, if one thing I'd love to do is clean up my eating habits. I have terrible.
Oh yeah, me too. That's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
well,
me
that's
too.
Yeah, me and Dave could just go out and have bang up routines all day. So I think
I'm a late night eater. That's my problem.
really,
Me too.
I'm a late night muncher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like 9:30,
You get the chips out.
second half,
Yeah.
third period starts.
Yeah. That's
Coke and a
exactly
bag
it.
of chips,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I'd like to clean up my eating habits. Definitely, that's something.
That's good. Are you a big fan of speaking things into existence?
What the hell's that mean?
I'm into that. That's something I'm.
That's really into.
Like The Secret. I'm sure The Secret. It came out the book The Secret.
Yeah.
It's all about speaking things into existence. So I don't even know how to define it. Basically,
It's just like
seeing it before it even happens.
visualizing
Okay,
it.
I could do that. I could see what you're saying. Larry Bird used to do that. Larry Bird used to shoot 500 free throws a day,
Okay.
and they were like, "How are you shooting 500 free throws a day?" And he's like, "Well, red light, close my eyes, I shoot 5. Next red light, I shoot another 5. Sitting in the
bad.
parking lot,
Yeah.
waiting for my dentist. He goes, I close my eyes and I shoot 100 free throws in my mind. So there you go. If it's good enough for Larry Legend, let's do
there
it.
you go.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you do it? Do you say like let's say you get someone wants you to sell their house.
Yeah.
Do you write it down like I will sell this by January 21st? It will be done. No.
No.
Okay.
No, I've been in the business long enough that once you see your client's expectations, you know exactly when you're going to sell it. And sometimes the answer is never. Some people.
I'm not saying to them. I'm saying to yourself.
No, to myself. I walk out of there, I'm like, I'm never selling it. and all brokers, they won't say it, but that is the reality.
That's
like,
the reality.
if you have a house that the street value or whatever is 400 and you might get 425 because there's a sister and the other sister wants to move into the neighborhood or they want to be near the mom or near a school, they'll pay an extra, $20, $30, $40,000. That's fine. But when you're asking, $500,000 and in today's market, because no matter what paper you read or what blog or what station you listen to, the market is hot, the market is hot, the market is hot.
Right.
Which is true. It is the reality. But it also leads to a lot of listings that somebody hearing that and saying, you know what, our house is worth 4, let's try to get 5.
Right.
So when somebody, I know their house is worth 400,000 and the listing price is 500 as I'm walking back to my car, the answer to that question is, when are we selling this? Never.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we usually rate the tequila now with a shot, but I know that you'll be
Let's rate it.
driving.
Then. Well,
We'll have to drink more than just
we
this.
take a shot of tequila.
We take a shot of tequila usually.
Lemon, salt?
We do not.
With budget cuts?
We do not. I don't know. Actually, you don't have to take one though.
And it's not chilled either.
Do you put lemon and salt in your beer? 'Cause I'm the only person who does it in my.
I'm not a big beer guy, no.
Okay.
I'm not a big beer guy. I think it's the calories, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big beer guy.
I only drink
Okay.
Coronas or so, like the Mexican. Mexican beer.
Whatever.
Mexican beers?
It all
I don't
tastes the
even
same
know.
to
Yeah.
me.
Dos Equis, yeah, Tegronis. Yeah. You don't like beer at all, eh?
No, but
Okay.
and not even chilled either, eh?
No. Just straight up.
Big budget cuts, Dave.
What do you want me to chill it with?
I don't know. Get a shaker.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're
I
at
guess so.
episode 5. By episode 10, we'll
All
have
right.
salt.
All right.
By
You know what?
episode 15, we'll have.
Which reminds me of a question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Where's Simon Tsalikis in 10 years? 10 years?
Oh, that's a great question.
He's on the Homies Tegronis podcast number 115.
I think. That's amazing that you did that.
And it's on camera.
The 10 years. I don't know. That's a great question. Dave. I'm gonna say. The only thing I could probably tell you is I'll be living in the city. I'll be out of suburbia.
Really? Eh?
Which I'm a big fan of suburbia.
Okay.
Yeah, like I always, I argue with some friends who live downtown. I'm like, you know what I love about downtown? They're like, what? You don't even live it. I go, but you know what I love about downtown? Like, what? I go, it's 22 minutes away. So if I want it, it's 22 minutes away.
Right.
22 minutes. I don't have to be in it to love it.
Right.
But I think that at some point we'll make a jump and live in
No
a
way.
city. Yeah, we're gonna give out.
Now you're saying downtown or like Le Plateau?
Never.
And, okay.
Never downtown.
Okay.
I'm not I love downtown.
Yeah.
Love going downtown. I love walking around downtown. I like everything. I love going to a Habs game when the weather's nice and
Right.
you walk up to the building and all these things. But I can't deal with the noise. I can't deal with the loudness, the hustle.
Right.
I very give me something in the Outremont area. Give me something
Okay.
in the Plateau.
Nice.
Go for a coffee.
Very
My
nice.
wife and I, we're gonna get rid of one car. We're gonna have living with one car. I don't know how that we're gonna do that, but
Yeah.
if I can envision myself somewhere like that in about 10 years from now.
Sweet. All right. That's pretty good.
And in the restaurant business.
And in the restaurant.
Yeah. You'll be a mogul.
I just
no?
want
You'll be
I
a
want to be at the
kingpin.
door, Dave.
Okay.
Hello, 2? Sure.
Okay. Sure. Nice. All right. Let's take the shot.
Oh, yeah, it's true. No,
Cheers.
I didn't offer you a shot, but I
That's
just
okay.
assumed.
Yes, we have to drive and then we have to pick up our.
Oh,
children.
let's not say that.
That's fine.
Let's censor that.
Yeah.
Part.
All right. Salute. It's not bad. Not a bad tequila. Have you ever had this, Jose Cuervo?
Yes, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. You a fan?
Bartender Dave for 13
Can
years.
you rate it, or you're not through memory? You can't rate it probably. Off the tequila.
It's not a speed rail tequila.
Right.
Right. That's a little bit of a bang bang tequila.
Yeah,
Those with, if you remember those. But I don't think it's as good as Patron.
Okay.
But I'm not.
We're working our way up to.
No, but I'm not. I'm not a booze connoisseur.
Okay.
Like you said.
Right.
I think I like drinking rum. I like rum and coke.
Like
whatever.
a spiced rum, like Captain Morgan, or you're just like a Bacardi, or
I'm a big fan. Look, the classic is the classic. Bacardi White to me will always
The white,
be a
okay.
staple. I think we
Nice.
should teach our kids in elementary school like this is how good Bacardi White is.
All right.
And then if I were to go into a spice, maybe like a Captain Morgan spice, I think
Okay.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's
dark
the
is
best
okay.
spice.
Yeah, but I'm not. Listen, I'm not a wine guy either,
Yeah.
or a beer guy. So very generic with my booze takes.
All right. Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's good.
The best
I mean,
I can do.
I like Jack Daniels, so I have no.
And that's
take.
crazy
I have
that
no.
you do.
Yeah, I know.
I can't.
I like all the fruity drinks.
Really, like what? Like a sex on the beach, like a tequila sunrise, fuzzy navel.
I'll take a pina colada when I'm out with the boys.
No.
Yes.
I will.
Yes, you will.
Dave knows
Dave,
me.
like really, but you're gonna bust the bartender's balls on a Friday night for a pina colada.
Yeah.
Like I like being on vacation because I will
Yeah, you'll enjoy those on the beach.
mojitos for breakfast. I don't care.
Yeah.
Pina colada, banana daiquiri, you name it, and stuff like that. But when we're in the city, I like sangria.
The amount of times I order pina colada and they give it to my girlfriend.
That's.
And then they have to do the switch,
100%
the embarrassing
of the time.
switch.
I'm
What is
like-
she having? Like a scotch? Like a.
No, I'll just order a pina colada. Like,
What is she having?
She won't drink.
Okay.
She won't drink. We might go on like a.
But like the pina
sangria.
colada is coming out of a mix. It's not like a real pina colada, right? It's coming out of a
I'm
carton.
not a connoisseur, so
Okay.
like as long
I
as
don't
it
wanna
tastes
burst your
good,
bubble. Okay,
as long
yeah.
as it tastes
comes
good,
out of a carton. They add it to ice.
it can come out of a can
Okay.
from 4 years ago.
That's
I'm
all right.
happy.
That's all right. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for coming, Simon.
We didn't
Hey,
rate
man.
the tequila.
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't rate
I'm going to
tequila.
rate it a 7 point.
Oh, every week you have a different tequila?
We have a different tequila every
Well, how
week.
many tequilas you get?
That's where the
We're on
budget
tequila
is.
5. That's
where the
our
budget-
budget.
that's where the
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, all right.
So I have
Maybe
to
get
drive
some ice.
yourself. Eventually,
Yeah.
we'll get you a limo, but for now, our
I just
tequila
want
budget is through
the next
roof.
time I come back, I want the chilled shots.
Okay.
If
I
you
promise.
want, next time I'm out, I'll bring a gift next time. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a shaker. You need a shaker, Dave.
All right. I promise. We'll get that for the next time you come out.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So what
Thank
are you
you.
giving it?
A 7.7.
Yeah, 7.7. I like it. You influenced me. It's good.
All right, let's keep it.
It's about
Thanks,
that.
Simon.
Thanks, boys.
Love it.
Right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Did you have fun?
That was great, man.
Yeah.
Good conversation, boys.